Just so we're clear, I started wearing face masks way before the coronavirus hit. I've been wearing this for 6 or 7 years now to protect myself from everything in the world that I react to because of my multiple chronic illnesses. Hey, it's Jeffrey Lynn. Yes, I do want to talk about the coronavirus today from the perspective of somebody with multiple chronic immune-related diseases. And I'm part of the small percentage of people that are actually at high risk of dying from the coronavirus. So there's old people, people over 70 or so, and people with pre-existing conditions and people with chronic diseases like myself. So I've actually been quarantining myself in my office, and my bedroom is next door, but I haven't really gone out to the rest of the house for a couple weeks now. And no, don't worry, I don't have the coronavirus, but because I'm very high risk for getting it, and if I do get it, I have very little chance of surviving it just because of my compromised immune system, as well as all the immunosuppressive medications that I'm taking that any tiny chance of getting the virus is just way too much risk for me to take. But this is nothing new for those of us who've lived with severe chronic illnesses, immune-related illnesses for our whole lives. And being quarantined is pretty normal for me because basically I just sit there in my chair working on my computer for days or weeks on end, even before the virus hit. The few times you do see me go out, those are the only times I go out. Any other time, I'm basically in here working on stuff and studying things. So I'll address two groups of people. First are those that are young and healthy, and second group would be the elderly and those of us with chronic illnesses that probably will die from the coronavirus if we ever got it. So the first group that are young and healthy, please don't panic because this probably wouldn't affect you. Most of you might even already have it and not know it just because about 80% of people who get the coronavirus don't have symptoms. The problem is you would be a silent carrier and you would spread it to those of us, friends and family that are either elderly or friends and family who have chronic illnesses or other diseases that are very susceptible to dying from the coronavirus. So it's basically most people don't feel anything, and a small group that you can silently transmit it to would have a high chance of dying if they ever got it. And if they didn't die, they would still have severe lung damage and other physical damages that they would have to carry for the rest of their lives, in addition to whatever age or whatever chronic illness they already had going in. So it's more about protecting friends and family. And I know a lot of people are frustrated that they have to stay home, or a lot of events like Coachella or the NBA is canceled. But I think this is a time where society as a whole can start focusing on the community and family and friends instead of what you personally want. I just feel like as a society, we've gone so focused on what I want to do, what's good for my mental health, and so you can always use the mental health excuse as just not having enough activities or not having enough social interaction is bad for you, and therefore you put yourself first and go out and get the virus, even though you're young and healthy and you wouldn't have any symptoms from having the virus. You would bring it home or bring it to the office and give it to somebody who does have an illness or who is old and susceptible to dying from the virus. So I think it's a great time for us to come together as a community, as a family, as a group of friends, and do things to help your friends and your family instead of necessarily just something that you impulsively want to do or feel that you're not allowed to do the fun things that you want to do. Because at some point, it might be your turn where you're suffering or you need help or you're at risk, and you would want your friends and family to be there to support you. So that comes to the second group, those of us who are immunity compromised and high risk of getting the coronavirus and dying from it. I think quarantine, as I've said, it's basically my life every single day, so it doesn't seem that difficult actually for compared to people who are used to going to social events and even going to the office and getting out of the house. This I guess it would be kind of hard to switch to just working from home all the time and not really going out and grabbing some air. But for those of us who have been bedridden for many, many years and just gone through life basically sitting or lying down, this is just another normal day. So my advice for those who feel like they're being trapped at home, just not being able to go outside or not having that many social activities available, start reaching out to people that you haven't talked to in a while, or people that you wouldn't usually talk to. Connect with them, and if they're more of a colleague or work-related friend, talk about ideas of things that you might want to do, or where you want to see things go for your personal career or education. You'll be surprised how many people in your past you will reconnect with and actually find that you are actually great friends. It's just you never had the chance to build that relationship. And I've been able to do so much building several businesses and now doing VC investing, all basically just from sitting at my desk for the last 10 or 15 years. Another thing being at home is great for is just reflecting on your life and where you wanted to go and things that you want to fix. It's really a good time to slow things down and think things through. A lot of times when you're just going to work and then going hanging out with friends or have other activities, doing stuff with family, you don't have that quiet time to really think. And sometimes to really think through these big life questions, it takes months, or for me, some have taken years. So having this quiet time where you're not thinking about the next thing that you got to go out to do allows you to think things through and even focus on starting a business or learning something that you always want to do, just because you don't have ways to procrastinate by going out. And if you've just watched everything that you already wanted to watch on Netflix, then you got to focus down on what you want to work on, whether if it's education or a side hustle or something else. But the most important thing that I think healthy people need to do is help those of us that are at high risk of dying from the coronavirus. We need help with doing daily things, especially if we're self-quarantined like I am, then I can't go out and run certain errands or even just pick up food. So again, it's a great time for you to pitch in and connect with your community, your friends and family, and do something for somebody else. And finally, if you're healthy, then don't go out and buy up all the supplies and resources and medical equipment that those of us who are sick would need. You would be condemning us to death, or at least suffering a lot. Also, don't overwhelm the hospitals and medical system just because you have a little bit of a cough, because those of us who usually need to go see doctors anyway because of our chronic illness, we still have to go. And if you're clogging up the medical system, then it would make it harder for those of us who actually need treatment to get the care and treatment that we need. So yeah, that's my perspective on the coronavirus as somebody who has multiple chronic illnesses. I'm not panicking just because I'm so used to living with risks and unknowns. I'm literally allergic to everything on the planet, including weather that's a couple days away. I'll have reactions to it. And when I say I'm allergic to literally everything on the planet, it means everything on the planet can kill me at any time. So that's sort of like the coronavirus, what the coronavirus will do to those of us that are at high risk, but it's not out of the ordinary for a lot of us that have lived on the edge of death for a long time. So panicking never helps. Panicking just makes you act emotionally and you make bad decisions under stress and fear. Fear is I think is the biggest problem that's driving all the hoarding of stuff and cancellations of a lot of events. I'm appreciative of it just because I'm somebody who's at high risk, but too much fear is never a good thing. You want to be objective, look at the facts, and take careful risk, because there's nothing in life that is risk-free. Even healthy people can die from accidents or some other cause at any time. Kobe Bryant is just a tragedy that recently happened when he crashed into the mountainside. So just being awake, being alive every day, there's a risk. Just do everything that you know that you can to prevent to lower that risk as much as possible, and then just go on with your life and try to do as much as you can. Try to say things that you wouldn't regret to people. Kind of live in the moment, live with no regrets, and that's just kind of how I've lived my life with all the restrictions and the dangers that I constantly have to deal with. All right, guys, thanks for watching. My name is Jeffrey Lin. I would ask you please support my channel by hitting the subscribe button, and with all the craziness that's going on, I'm sure you know somebody who would find this video helpful so please share this video with them.